Hey everybody, how are you doing? It's your boy DC, Thursday night host of Rogers Out of the Fog.
Right, you kind of got to make your own fun.
Yeah.
Which was a transition for me, going into the morning show here.
Proud. Keep doing the amazing work, will you?
They're learning about how to hire people.
20 years of local matter, so join me every Thursday night and see what's going on in the fog.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
This is Rogers TV.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercy and this is Out of the Fog. Today, we're going to talk about ways that you can get up on your feet and get moving. Some of it might be just for the movement itself, and some more might be to watch some super entertaining stuff that you might just surprise yourself with how much you love it. We'll be right back with somebody from the embassy, a drag queen, and somebody who wants to run in circles for 24 hours. Welcome back to Out of the Fog. I got one really good-looking friend here, and the other one's name is Niall. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Queer. Hello,
Queer.
how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I will talk to you in a second about
Certainly.
your new dog walking business, obviously. That's what you're doing here. Mr. Naill Hickey, sir.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. From the Newfoundland Embassy, friendliest little pub in the North Atlantic.
Yes, sir.
So you're both here on a couch together.
Certainly.
Because you're doing some work together. But before we talk too much about that, I'd like to just sort of introduce our audience to who each of you are individually, and then we can talk about the cool stuff that you're doing together.
Perfect.
Cool?
Yeah, I love it.
All right. So, Crystal, drag artist and also a producer, but a producer of drag and queer related events, correct?
Yes.
Yeah? Delve into that for me a bit.
So drag producer, producing events all over the province, queer events, traveling drag shows, some high caliber shows, bringing entertainers into the province, shows of all kinds, you know.
What do you mean when you say high caliber shows?
So bringing in queer and drag artists, you know, from RuPaul's Drag Race, and you know, entertainers who have higher platforms, more of a following, recognizable queer entertainers in the community.
So if you're a fan of, that show, that took off.
Yes.
Over the last couple of years. And I know it's always like RuPaul has been famous for like 20 years
Absolutely.
or more.
Longer than
but
that.
Right, a long
crazy.
time, yeah. I mean, that show being so, ubiquitous. Everybody knows who RuPaul is now. Probably most people always did.
Absolutely.
But now everybody knows. And that show, like, has that had an impact on your community? It must have.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like, you know, it's given us so much growth and acceptance, you know, and drag has become so mainstream and, you know, socially accepted, and has brought so many new faces and audience members to our show because RuPaul's Drag Race, you know, and how exposed the world is to that now because of how easily accessible the show is.
So when you do, because you do regular shows kind of weekly, you were saying how many hundred just since COVID or something you said?
I would say we've pulled off 300 or so shows since the pandemic, yeah, both online and in person.
And the audience that you're seeing during the evolution of those shows? Same faces, different faces, more faces, like?
Definitely, there's new faces, every show that we do. We do shows Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. There's always new faces there, but certainly we've seen, the audiences shift so much in so many new faces, because before we would always have, regulars who are regulars of the queer community and to the establishments and so on. But now, it's more frequent. We're having bachelorette parties who are coming specifically to see these shows, families who are coming. We do all ages shows, and it's really mind-blowing to see.
So there's like a group of people now that are drag show fans.
Oh, fanatics, yeah.
And they might not all fit into whatever little subcategory of person you would have expected.
Absolutely not, and especially we have, a lot of straight men who come to the shows now who, embrace their sexuality and enjoy the performance of it.
Because it's entertaining.
Oh, it is. It's, it's a riot. You never know what's going to happen on that stage.
Yeah, because you performed as a drag artist professionally in the Toronto area for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to just say like, well, if you did it in Toronto, obviously you're a big deal. But like, it's got to be harder to make it there as a pro than it is here necessarily, just because the amount of individuals you're competing against.
Certainly, there's a lot of competition for sure, and it really comes down to being yourself, and the opportunities either come to you. You work a lot for the community first, doing like free shows and so on to get exposure, fundraisers, showing up and supporting the shows that people are doing to get your name out there, right? Because you're right, it took a long time for me to be a recognizable face there, but it's all about the work and how much you invest into your craft, for sure.
I think this is a great transition, because part of the reason that I like this conversation and why I wanted to have it, Mr. Hickey.
Yes, sir.
Crystal was talking about making a mark on a community to let people know who you are and to be out there and to be accessible and to be seen. You guys took over the Newfoundland Embassy and opened it up at a super inconvenient time.
Oh, it was the worst, yeah.
It was
really
basically like the day before COVID shut us down.
Yeah, it was practically, December 1st we took over, and a month later, well, first week was Snowmageddon, and a month later was COVID, so it's pretty tough.
And that's a hard, like the last few years have been a hard go in the service industry in every way, shape, or form. And to do it in food service and somewhere where, by definition, you can only make money if there are people gathered in a small room together, that's hard to make it. But I'm not going to say you're rolling in it. I'm not going to rob you on the way out or anything.
Nope.
But your doors are open and there's a lot of people there almost every day.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. We have been doing pretty well, I must say. After the community supported us a lot after COVID. Me and my brother always believed if you support the community, they support you too. And it's been consistent for us, which is really, really nice to see.
And that's exactly the point that I'm making, because you guys do this thing where every individual subsection of the community, whatever it is, there's something that is available to them at the embassy, and everybody is welcome to come there.
Yep.
Like, Crystal, you and your friends, either in drag or not, or whatever, could stroll on in there, and all of the guys that are waiting with their kids and their families to go watch the Growlers game in a little bit will be there too. And I might be over in the corner with my real estate team, or there might be, like, it's so inclusive, it's so welcoming, and it's so warm, which I guess the tagline, friendliest little pub in the Newfoundland, in the cold North Atlantic, sort of where it comes from. I think that's gotta be a big part of why you've been having that success.
I believe so too, I agree fully.
Yeah, and also, I guess that brings us to why you're on the couch together. But I don't know, you're so far away though, Niall. It's like, are you,
come on over.
What is going on? Are you?
There we go.
I don't bite ya.
Don't mess up our cameras now. So What are you guys working on together now? Because you've done some shows over the last little while, but now you've got like a recurring thing.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we're starting drag bingo and drag karaoke. You know, both events were done at previous establishments and were hugely successful. So, you know, me being the queer producer that I am with all the shows and the producer mind, I thought to myself, I would love to bring these events back. And you know, all of my entertainers who work at the embassy always say, Niall and the team there are always the best for taking care of us.
They're pretty best kind.
Oh, it's pretty amazing. Like, and you know, they go above and beyond to make sure we're comfortable. And like, we have, you know, a green space, a get ready space. Niall or somebody working is always there consistently to check on us and so on, right? So with this event that we're doing, drag bingo and drag karaoke, it's happening every Tuesday. It will be rotating. So the first and the third Tuesday of every month, it will be drag bingo, hosted by myself and a local entertainer, Ophelia Delight. This event is also sponsored by Our Pleasure for the prizes that we will be giving away. So I guess you can like bring it like a little bit of a dirty bingo, if you will. You know, it's going to be quite a riot. And then
already in my head, I'm thinking of the jokes that you make, like, because like I've called bingo like before, and when like certain numbers come up,
there's like certain terms that we use for sure.
Stuff, and I feel like this is going to get super appropriate and child friendly.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's going to be great. You know, there's a reason why certainly we have it at a 19 plus audience, and you know, at a time frame where we're not going to have, you know, under 19.
So what makes drag bingo? Like what? Because it's still bingo, right? So what makes it drag bingo?
You have two drag entertainers, you know, just shooting it and putting on a show. You know, we'll add in a performance before or after bingo, and it's just, you know, the banter back and forth and just the fun environment that we create and how much, you know, because it's also a show while you're playing the bingo game, right? Because we're interacting with the audience, we're making everyone feel comfortable, educating, you know, and it's just a great time.
And the same goes for karaoke, I assume.
Yeah.
And the karaoke is available to the regular patrons, Niall. So like I go down on a Tuesday night for drag karaoke, and like Crystal or one of your cast or whatever is hosting and performing, and then I perform alongside of in between, sort of.
Yep.
Or this is.
Well, you shouldn't come though.
Well, so
I don't know about you singing.
I can't sing. I cannot sing. However, I can hold a mic, and I don't mind getting laughs out of people. So like, I'm a terrible singer. So
our host for karaoke is Ava Ray. So she will be there on the second and the fourth Tuesday of every month. She's a regular karaoke host. Actually, she's done it for a long period of time at other establishments, and she's a riot. And she's also known as in the community as like the dancing diva in the drag scene, like unstoppable performer, and she's always so microphone savvy, and it's just smiles when she's there. So very excited to have her a part of it as well.
Niall, did you think, because you've been working in the bar scene for a long time, prior to ownership, like just tending bar, like
11 years.
Yeah. Did it cross your mind that you'd be the guy that was hosting all of the drag stuff? Like,
Never
ever
did.
Right?
Nope.
But yet it's somehow this really natural evolution.
It is, yeah. Well, the first show we put off together, it was mind-blowing how many people came in for a 2.5 hour event, and I was hooked right after that. I realized this was a great business decision, a great business idea, and ever since me and Crystal hooked up with that, it's been over 30 shows at the embassy, and every show has been amazing every single time. Full house, packed.
I'm gonna ask this question, Crystal. I'm gonna ask this question to Niall because knowing our typical demographic for Out of the Fog, I would like to know how Niall would answer this question. Who should go to a drag show?
Everybody. Everybody should. It is the most fun you'll see. The queens are jumping around, singing, running around. The whole place is up in arms. People have $5 bills, just flicking at the queens. Had a queen crawl across the bar. It was wild. It was so much fun. So everybody should check it out. There's no age limit besides 19 plus, obviously. But everybody from 19 up to 80 should check it out.
Absolutely amazing. Mr. Hickey, Miss Queer. Thank you very much for coming out. I'm looking forward to all of the Tuesdays at the Newfoundland Embassy, and I'm looking forward to getting back to this episode right after this. And welcome back to Out of the Fog. Now for something completely different. And for context, of course, Mark, you're like two ships passing at night when you're seeing the other half of the show.
Correct, yeah.
So we're going to talk about running. Not back and forth jumping, screaming, and singing songs in heels higher than your kneecaps. But you are, in addition to being a nice fellow, Mr. Mark Ivany, one of the vice presidents of the Paradise Running Club.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so what's a running club, Mark? Because to me it sounds exhausting.
So basically, right now, Paradise Running Club is a group of currently 153 people in Paradise, Mount Pearl, CBS, and we run nightly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and we also do Saturdays and Sundays. So
153 people.
153 people. Now, we don't get them all every time we run, but there is 153 active members currently in Paradise Running Club.
That run 4 times a week?
Some, yep.
So do you take turns chasing each other? Is that how you do it? Like why?
No. We try to keep we try to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
So each run we post different runs and we try to include everybody. So yeah, it's really fun.
So how did you get involved in this?
How I got involved was back in 2021. It was kind of during the COVID time. I had always been an active fella growing up, but I had, like a lot of people during COVID, I had just been sitting around a lot more, and I decided that I wanted to get back into something. And I had actually seen a bunch of people wearing Paradise Running Club colors on a really crappy Saturday morning, getting ready to go for a run. I thought, that's my kind of people. So
you weren't afraid to be out, even though it wasn't.
It wasn't ideal. So so then I joined the. Within no time, I had a notification on Facebook for a Learn to Run program, and so I joined that, and that's how I got involved.
So you weren't a runner previous to this club?
No.
And this is only a couple of years ago?
Yeah, correct.
And now you're the vice president?
Correct.
Is being the vice president of a running club any indication of your ability as a runner?
100% not.
No, okay. I was like, you start with 100%. I was like, I mean, I know you. Are you that good of a runner?
No. It's just so Paradise Running Club is very. We're a running club, but we're also social. We do different like Christmas parties and St. Patrick's Day parties. We just had a cornhole tournament recently, so we're also a group of people that are all interested in running.
Yeah.
And we're just that's our common kind of the glue that puts the group together is running.
So you're a social group and
with a running
community as much as you are, with a running problem,
Yes.
with bad knees. Yeah. So let's talk about this Learn to Run thing that you mentioned.
Absolutely. Yeah, it starts in around the middle of March and runs to the beginning of June. So it's a 12-week program, and essentially it's couch to 5K. So you can have no previous running experience at all. And how it operates is it does 1 minute running with 1 minute walking in intervals.
Okay.
So that's how it starts. And then, of course, it ramps up to 1.5 minutes and 1 minute walk. And then it goes to 2 minutes and probably a minute walk. So there's all kinds of interval that you use that helps you.
And the purpose of this is to train your
build
body.
your body. Yeah, to get used to the process. Because when you first start, that 1 minute feels horrible. No lie, for some people it's just absolute misery. But that's okay. It's not supposed to be.
It doesn't sound okay.
Right, but it's okay. But you'll be surprised, in 12 weeks, the amount of people that go from couch to 5K is amazing. And it's such an accomplishment to know that you went from, nothing to being able to run a 5K. It's a crazy.
So give me, I assume you've run 5 kilometers many times. Give me a space in and around town where in my head I could say this is 5K.
So Mundy Pan, for example. So
Yeah.
Mundy Pan, 2 loops of Mundy Pan is a 5K. So there's actually a race that occurs there in Mundy Pan.
So if you
do
the trail
roadway,
that's on
the roadway technically.
Oh,
Yeah.
the roadway.
Yeah. So if you go around Mundy Pan 2 times, that's 5K. Yeah.
So you could go from moi, like couch potato eating chips,
Yep.
to a 5K, 12 weeks or less.
In 12 weeks, yeah. Yep. And the way it's done, so some people run that consistently. Some people still do 9 minutes run, 1 minute walk to do intervals. That's a very common running technique. People do intervals. So they do, 8 and 1s, which means run for 8 minutes, walk for 1 minute. Just because what it does is just brings your heart rate back down, get you back in control, and then you can go back into the run again.
Back in control. Like, is that like terminology that you use when you're coaching people? Well, do you coach?
I do not coach, no.
Okay.
But in like when we're doing training, that's just one of the things. If you start to feel like you're starting to feel like your heart rate is a little bit high, or starting to feel like your breathing's off, one of the things you can do is just take a short interval walk.
So there's a lot about this, like when you're running, to learn how to interpret what your body's doing, like some self-awareness of like, this is what it feels like when I need whatever.
Yeah, it's really in tune with your body. Yeah, you get to learn your breathing habits, your foot strikes, just how you feel.
Foot strikes?
In terms of when you're running, how your gait is. So when you're running, you learn if you're hitting harder, maybe you're feeling a different way. So if you want to make sure that you're running fluid, you're not making hard strikes and stuff. Yeah.
Because that's harder on your body,
Correct.
your joints or whatever, yeah.
Correct, yeah.
So you don't want that like a cat. You want to run like a cat, not like a
You want to be
hippo.
quiet. You want to be quiet and you want to move, yeah.
So running is, it's been good to you, right?
Very good. Yeah.
I mean, you're still in the club and you're a VP now, so I
Yeah.
guess it's been good to you.
It's been a huge life change for me.
And so it's been a big life change. Can you talk about the ways in which it has been? Because obviously there's the health part. Theoretically, you must be in better shape now than you were when you joined the club.
Yeah, so when I started in 2021, the reason that I started was I was playing ball hockey with my son and I couldn't really, I was outwinded running to the end of the driveway. And that was kind of my aha moment that this is not going to work. I don't want this. I'm an active fellow. My son is active. He had been recently diagnosed with diabetes, so I knew that being active was going to be a huge thing for me. So fast forward, I did learn to run. I ran a 5K. Within 6 months of that, I ran the Cape to Cabot, which was a 20K race, which is a grueling race. And then within 18 months of going from couch, I ran my first marathon last year. So
like for context here though, so like you go from 5K to like 20K, and then you say it's a grueling race. So are there 20K races that aren't grueling? Like, what makes the Cape to Cabot grueling?
The Cape to Cabot is grueling because of the elevation change. So you leave Cape Spear and there's 4 significant climbs. There's 3 coming out of Cape Spear. You have the first one,
Yep.
the second one, and then the long Blackhead one coming right out. You go right down to sea level and come right back up again. Then you have the downhill coming out of Shea Heights, but then you have the long Harbourfront, and then you have the finale of going up Signal Hill.
Going up over
So there's
Signal.
4 significant climbs. There's almost 500 meters of elevation gain. So that's a grueling 20K.
And running downhill is also hard.
It's hard. It's hard on your quads. It's a pounding activity. Yeah, a lot of people find going downhill hard on the body. It's demanding. Yeah.
So as a part of like some of the recovery from my injuries from my accident, I find going downstairs or walking down a hill harder than going up.
Correct. And same way, if you're having trouble with that, there's different ways to do that. You can learn different ways to go downhill.
Like
more
different
efficient.
techniques.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you go from there, and then you're running a grueling 20K, and then you're running marathons. What is a marathon, and why is it longer than 20 kilometers? Like, where's the end mark is what I'm saying. Like, how far do you need to be able to run?
So people just run all these distances. So next year, a group of interested people are doing what's called a backyard ultra. It's not going to be affiliated with Paradise Running Club, but it's actually a group of runners that are involved in St. John's. And what that is there's a 6.7K loop, and you go around, you start it every hour, and you do it as many times as you can. So you could, in theory, be going for 24, 48 hours running these loops. There is no end to what you can achieve. It's just as much a mental as it is a physical.
Okay. Just give me a second here. So I can get my head behind wanting to be able to keep up with your kid when they're playing. And I can get my head behind looking after your body and being healthy and strong. And I can get my head behind a sense of community and involvement and a social club. And I can also get my head behind like how it helps your mental health, anxiety, depression, ADHD. These are all things that I have that exercise helps with. And I can even be like, if I'm gonna run and they're gonna give me a medal and it's cool and you celebrate it, that excites me too. But I can't imagine running in circles for 24 hours just because I could.
And it's not necessarily because you can, it's because you want to prove that you can. Because running is sort of a sport to yourself. Like, you run by yourself. So a lot of times you're trying to beat your own time. You're trying to beat the distance. You're trying to do all that. For me, and I know for a lot of runners, it's just knowing, can I do one more? It's like I said, it's just as much mental. So you're just forcing yourself. Can I do this? Because you want that sense of accomplishment after. Can I beat that time last year? Even if it's by a minute, it's huge to be able to do that. Because in your mind, you just beat a goal you set.
Yeah.
So it's all that training. So just like any sort of sport, hobby, anything you do, it's the work you do outside of those run nights. So it's going to the gym, it's getting up early. It's, so yeah, it's great. I went out and set that 1 minute PB. I beat it by 1 minute, but it was all those mornings of getting up in the freezing rain that you went out for a run. It's all, and it's knowing that you do that. That's where I do, and I know a lot of runners get their joy out of it.
Okay. I like how this conversation went, because it went from running is terrible to we're really accepting.
No, that's your words. That's your words.
That we're really accepting of getting people into this, and we teach them how to do it. And it can go all the way to here, or you can just be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And I like that, and I think that's a great way to end it. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to come out.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for still watching, and we'll be right back after this. Hopefully, this much better than I was in the opening. And welcome back. I feel like I can breathe. I feel like I have a plan. I know what my weeks are going to be like. When Mark and all of his friends go running on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to go to the embassy. Anyway, that's a joke. I would run if I could. I miss it. I used to run when I was younger. I like this learn to run thing. I like the inclusivity in their club, and I like the inclusivity of the embassy. Get out, have fun, enjoy yourselves. Tonight and always, we'll see you next week.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrival Live smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS